Have you ever asked yourself, like, the absolute most random question ever, and then searched it up on YouTube, looking for an answer, and you find a video made by somebody who has way too much time on their hands? Nice to meet you. Recently, I thought, what is the most common last name in not only currently in the National Football League, but in NFL history? And I did the research and put together a video on it for the off chance that one person in the world has also asked this question before. So I have compiled the top 10 most common last names currently in the NFL and also of all time. Without further ado, let's get into by far the dumbest video that you have ever watched. The top 5 last names in the United States are Smith, Johnson, Williams, Brown, and Jones. So we have a rough idea of what to expect on this list. If your name is on this list, do not feel bad. There are several things that you can feel good about with your name being on this list. One, you can get a custom jersey from pretty much any team, and have it actually be a player. You might not like the number, but you can just wait for another player with that last name to join your team. It's probably only going to take a couple weeks. 2, your name can be pronounced. I mean, not everybody has the last name Juszczyk. Like, I'm pretty jealous of it, though. So, without further ado, let's try to answer the dumb questions that if you clicked on this video, you apparently want to know. I don't understand why. Currently, the top 10 names in the NFL are as follows. 13 players have the last name Robinson. At 9th, Taylor with 14 players. Tied for 7th is Jackson and Thomas, each with 19. Then we get into 20 plus players. With 21 players, ranking 6th on this list is Davis, to nobody's surprise. It's one of the most common names. I mean, I can probably name 20 Davises right now. Carlton Davis. Does Davis Mills count? Never mind, I don't know football. Number 5 is Brown, with 25 current players on NFL rosters. This is pre-draft numbers, obviously. You have guys like A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown, and other people with the last name Brown. 4th place is Smith, with 28 players. And then the top 3 are just ridiculous numbers. 32 players currently have the last name Johnson on NFL rosters. 35 players currently have the last name Williams on NFL rosters. And in first place with 36 names, Jones. I'm not surprised whatsoever. That's the current numbers right now. So the top 10 names compiled, obviously having 36 and 35 players with one last name in the NFL is insane. And that just keeps growing as we're going to have more Joneses, more Williamses, and more Johnsons entering the NFL throughout the draft this year. So it's just going to get even more out of hand. So if you have one of those names, I'm sorry, but there's a very good chance that you don't even have to order a custom jersey. So good for you. However, the most common last name in the NFL right now, there are 51 players whose name starts with Mick. You could be a restaurant item. Before we get into the all-time most popular names in the NFL, in NFL history, and answer the dumbest question, I want to talk about initials quickly. The most common last initial in NFL history is B, with just shy of 4,000 players ever to have their last name start with B, which is insane. And there is just one ever player whose last name started with an X. His name was O'Shane. I'm not going to embarrass myself. It's just O'Shane. Here we go for the rest, and I don't have it in order right now on my script for whatever reason, so I'm just going to put it up on the screen in proper order and try not to be too messy in this video now. There are 87 players ever to have the last name Adams, 127 to have the last name Allen, 146 to have the last name White, 159 to have the last name Taylor, 157 to have the last name Anderson, including the one and only Anderson from 1922. Now we get into absolutely crazy numbers. There have been 224 NFL players ever to have the last name Thomas, 204 players with the last name Harris, 241 with the last name Jackson. This one was a little bit surprising that it was that low considering how common it is. Jones has 391 all-time players to be on an active NFL roster with that last name. Davis with 313. And then Brown ranks with 385. The top two numbers are insane. They're separated by 1. There have been 520 players in NFL history whose last name was Johnson. And there have been 521 players in NFL history whose last name is Williams. 520 versus 521. So, I hope that I answered the worst question on the internet today. And I hope that you didn't completely waste your, 5 minutes that this video took. But if you found this using the search feature, get a job. Please. Nobody has ever asked this. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, I don't blame you. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully a more structured video and a better one.